Hello, everybody. Great to have you here. Thank you ever so much for your time in doing so. My name is Steve Mills. I'm often called the results guy. I run a company called Results Mastery, and I've been doing so for 30 years. I know I don't look old enough, but sadly it's true. But it's great to have you here. Thank you, as I say, for doing so. I'm going to try and make sure, and I do try and make sure every time I do one of these live streams that you get the most possible value out of it. I've always believed that if I can help people for free, which is what I'm doing here, then some of them might want more help that they're willing to pay for. And really, that's all I want. I'm looking for people who are looking to grow their business and want some help. And I'm willing to give some hopefully great advice and give my take on things based on, it's actually over 30 years now of experience working with over 10,000 businesses. And believe it or not, I've made them, I often say, over £100 million worth of business. But the truth of the matter is it's far more than that. And I don't say that to be big-headed, because it's not me that's made them the money. It's them implementing. I've also worked with businesses who've what I call FTI'd, which is failing to implement. They've gone away, they've said, oh, it was a great day, Steve, or, thanks for the advice, it was really good. And then, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years later, they've done absolutely nothing. And guess what rewards we get for doing nothing? It's like the people who join the gym and don't ever go down there. I've got a friend, and I saw him down the gym recently. And I said, oh, how long have you been a member? He said, oh, about 8 months ago. I said, well, I've not seen you. I said, no, I've not been down for 6 months. And he's paying his £80 a month or whatever it is to be a member. But anyway, we're not here today to talk about that. We're here to talk about the future of business in 2026, which in a way is a bit of a bizarre subject, because if we knew for certain what 2026 would bring, then we'd already have it, wouldn't we? But, in a way, we don't have it. But I'm going to give you my take on what I think you need to be doing next year in order to be, A, survive, and B, to thrive. And really what I'm about is helping people to do both of those things, making sure initially that, we manage to keep going. But really, to be honest, what really gets my inspiration, I hope it does you, and that is the ability to thrive, to do better than you've done before. And I can tell you this, because I was talking to a young lady this morning on a Zoom meeting, saying that, being good at what you do, you repair cars, you cut hair, you do accounts, you're a HR advisor, you're a life coach, you're a whatever it is, it doesn't really matter, won't get you successful. It'll get you to a certain level, but being good at marketing what you do, you could be anything. A lot of consultants, apparently the average income for a consultant right now is less than 40,000 a year. Can you believe that? You think, oh, he's a consultant, he must be doing incredibly well. Now, on the flip side of that, the number one consultant, in my opinion, in the world, certainly must be in the top very, very, very few, is a gentleman called Tony Robbins. Now, Tony earns a reputed 7 to 8 billion a year. Now, that is a little bit more than me, let's put it that way. And, good luck to him. He's shown that he can take this industry with an average income of £40,000 a year and make it into a 7-8 billion pound a year business. So that's fantastic, I think. Anyway, let's talk. I'm going to talk to start with about the past, just to get you thinking about where we might be going in the future. I remember years ago in a magazine, I saw this. It was like one of those little, I don't know whether you remember the little, like a cartoony type thing. And if you imagine, there's a picture of a battle taking place, and people are using bow and arrows. They're firing bow and arrows at each other. And there's a guy in this like wagon, and he's got like one of those big machine guns, and he's a sales guy, I think, and he's sort of saying, just stop doing what you're doing and come and have a look at this. And the guy shooting the bow and arrow says, look, I'm in the middle of a battle. I've not got time to do that. And that's how I think we are often in business. We've not got time to fully investigate how to use AI, for example, because we're so busy doing it, making it, shipping it, selling it, making it, shipping it, selling it, and then doing it again and again and again, that we don't have time to actually learn new stuff, nor do we have time to market our business. So we finish up actually being what I call a wage slave, exchanging time for money as a business owner, which is never a good thing, in my opinion, because you've only got so much time and therefore you've only got so much money. So that's one example. Another quick example is I've got a picture in my house of my granddad. Now, my granddad's long since gone, but I've still got that picture there, and it's of him pushing a plough with a horse in front. He's doing the fields, and he's got a horse, and no doubt at some point in the future with him, maybe the following year or a few years later, somebody came along and said, look, we got this tractor thing. And my granddad, knowing him, he probably said, oh, that'll never catch on. That's a fad. People will always need horses. He was a typical Yorkshireman. And, how that changed the world, the Industrial Revolution. We then had the internet revolution, didn't we? And people thought, oh, this is okay, but, will it last? And how good is it? And how can we use it? Boy, how has that changed us? I always remember, one day watching Star Trek. Do you remember that? Right in the beginning, they had these things. They looked a bit like this one here, and they picked them up and they started talking to people. And they had no wires coming out of them and everything. And everybody thought, oh, that's amazing. Wouldn't that be brilliant if that ever happened? But I can't see it. We're not going to be able to do that. Who knows? Maybe in the future it'll be beam me up, Scotty, and I won't have to travel on the M25 like I did the other day, getting stuck for 7 hours. That would be probably way off in the future, I think. I don't think that's going to happen in 2026, but you never know. But anyway, okay, 2026 even. What's going to happen? Well, the truth is, as I've said, nobody really knows. We got an idea. We've got an idea about things that might be happening. We know that certain things like, AI are going to dominate, the business world and our world in general. Things are going to happen. I heard the other day that Vodafone have just released 2,000 people and replaced those 2,000 people with AI, which is a worrying thing, isn't it, really? What jobs are safe these days? Who knows? People think, oh, well, I'm a this or I'm a that, therefore I'm safe. I repair cars, so they're never going to get computers or AI agents to repair cars. Well, they got them to make cars, haven't they? Pretty much making cars these days is an automated process that's been around for years and years. Do you think it's really impossible for them to do that? So all I'm saying is, we need to, I believe we need to embrace this thing called AI. And whether you like it or whether you don't like it is irrelevant. It doesn't matter. I'll tell you this. One of the things that I've done a lot of over the last, 10 years is social media. I do a lot of social media marketing. I'm probably posting on social media 5 to 10 times every day, videos and ideas and links to websites and so on and so forth. I do it all the time. Okay. Now, if you said to me, I don't like social media, I'd say, no, neither do I. And the day I retire will be the day that it all comes down. I have no interest in it whatsoever. But I do have interest in growing my business. I do have interest in helping people. I do have interest in, developing my life and providing for my family and so on and so forth. So I'm going to continue doing it for as long as I continue working. So what's going to happen? Before I talk about what's going to happen, I want to talk briefly about what's happening now. Because one of the things I'm seeing now, we've got like two camps. We've got the I hate technology and AI and so on, and I don't want to use it and it doesn't affect me and I'm carrying on the way I am. And then we've got the group at this side who are, it's fantastic. I mean, I'm one of those. It's fantastic. It's brilliant. It's amazing. Yeah, I understand it could be used for bad stuff as well. But I believe, hopefully, if we can get everybody on board, the good stuff will outweigh the bad stuff. But then, and here's the problem, we've got a massive people in the middle who are doing what? What do you think they're doing? They're doing nothing. Right? And if they're doing something, they're probably on ChatGPT and go on there just occasionally and use it a little bit and don't have any understanding of what's there right now and what they could use and how they could use it and so on and so forth. Now, let alone the thousands of other AI sites. They say, oh, AI, oh yeah, that's ChatGPT, isn't it? Or they're using the Google version or the Microsoft version, and that's great. At least they're using it, but, they're not using it to their full potential. So it's all very well thinking about the future, but let's think about the present now. Are we getting the best? Are you getting the best out of AI? How many AI sites are you using? Are you using them to produce videos? Are you using them to produce websites and landing pages and emails and text and blogs and, you name it? People say, oh, I've not got time to do social media, Steve. Well, I can go on to I've got an AI, by the way, just to let you know. It's called the Results Mastery AI Advisor. Right now, what this does is it enables my clients and people who pay to be a member. And by the way, it's £10 a month. If you do want to sign up, just get in touch with me, drop me a line. And what it does is it's got me in it, right? Don't ask me how I've done that because it'll take too long to explain. But I've taken all my knowledge, all my information, all my tip sheets, all my frameworks, all my stuff, all my books, all my website, my podcast, my videos, everything is in it. And when people ask it a question, it utilizes my 30 plus years of information and provides you with that as a uses that to provide whatever it is you want. So, that's a real opportunity, that is, and I strongly recommend that you go and take a look at that. But anyway, what I'm saying, my message at this point is, before we start and worry and think about what's coming, let's start and worry about what we're not using that we could be using to grow our business. Because if we're sat back doing the same as everybody else, guess what results we're going to get? We're going to get poor results, because that's what everybody gets. 8 out of 10 businesses go bust within the first 5 years of trading. And a full 90% of the remaining 20% don't last a year 10. How sad is that? Why is that? The number one reason is lack of sales, lack of an understanding of lead generation and lead conversion. That's what that translates to. If you're not gaining business from your marketing and your selling, then, times are going to be tough. Let's be honest. Okay, so what are the keys then? What's going to happen? Automation. That's going to be one word we're going to find more and more popular in 2026. Automation. Automation of what? automation of social media, automation of email marketing, automation of website development, of landing pages, of blog posts, of search engine optimization, of copywriting. You know, the world that we live in now is going to be different in 2026. I heard a great saying the other day, and it was this: today is the worst that AI will ever be. Today's the worst that AI will ever be. And what that means is, like today's level of AI, tomorrow it will be better. The day after tomorrow, it'll be even better. And the day after that, guess what? It's going to be even better still. And it's going to continue to do that until it gets to, I don't know where, but, you know, to a phenomenally, we are, like, you know, if we start, where am I on the screen here? If we start somewhere here, right? Down below this here, the bottom up where I can't get my finger right. No, I'm going to start here. Okay, let's do it right. So before AI, you know, we're here. We've come along and we're sort of somewhere about here, I think. And sooner or later, we're going to go like this. And I think it's going to be sooner. Okay, so, you know, the number one skill, I'd say, for you to develop, for you to learn, if you're a young person listening to this, is to really, really understand modern digital marketing technology. It'll get you everywhere, particularly AI. You know, no matter what you do, you don't have to be in marketing. I'm not saying that, you know, everybody should, you know, become an expert marketer. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you need to understand this digital world. If you're in IT, you're an IT person, you know, AI is going to take your job unless you learn how to use AI to do your job. You with me? So, you know, the best partnership, I believe, for AI going forward is not like, well, I'm going to go to bed and let AI do my work for me, because it will do. And by the way, that technology is here now. You may or may not know that. But, you know, I can go to a website and I can get AI to do pretty much anything, from designing a new website to building me an e-commerce site and so on and so forth. I can get it to do pretty much what I want from a technical point of view and have it cost me not that much money. So that said, it's not really about that, I don't think. It's about AI working with people, right? People are essential to get AI working fully. But if you don't ask the right questions, it's like employing somebody. You know, if I employ somebody and I said to them, you know, on their first day at work, I said, right, what I'd like you to do is to write me a marketing plan. Is that all right? Yeah, you can do that. Thanks very much. Great. And off they go to write a marketing plan. What sort of plan do you think they're going to produce? Well, they'll do their best. But I haven't really briefed them very well, have I? So this is where the human bit comes in. So if I said, right, I want you to write me a marketing plan to help me to go from 500,000 to 1 million turnover in the next 12 months. My target market is small businesses, consultants, advisors, people in the helping industry. Let me just tell you a little bit about the products and services that we offer and what we're doing right now in terms of marketing. We're currently generating, 50 leads per month, and we'd like to increase that to 100 leads per month. And we're going to use this, that, and the other, blah, 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 and go and do the marketing plan. Do you think the second person would do better than the first? Absolutely, because they'd have more information. The same is true with AI. So really, really important. Another thing that I think AI is going to be able to do for us in 2026 is hyper personalization. We can do that now to some extent, but I think it's going to go to another level where we can personalize our marketing. As well as automate it, we can also personalize it. And that I think is really important. Um, another couple of things on that is, firstly, cybersecurity. That's going to be an issue. If you've not got things in place, you're going to be more vulnerable next year, as time goes on, actually. So making sure that everything's in place from a cyber security point of view is definitely good practice. Now, I'm not a cyber security expert, so I've got nothing to tell you on that other than it's important, get it done. Next one, sustainability. That's going to become even more important, isn't it? We hear a lot about it. It's been very big for a good few years now, and we're all supposedly, going to be more sustainable, more eco-friendly, and so on and so forth. And, businesses are going to be able to probably find out just, I might say, oh yeah, my business is sustainable. We have we have a very green policy. And then when you look into my business, which you might be able to do from an automation point of view, you go, do you know what? It isn't that sustainable. It isn't green, and so, having a policy and sitting down and thinking about what you're going to do next year to do that may get you more customers because they see and understand that you're doing that. They think it's an important thing, which it is. And therefore you win more business. Okay, just wanted to sort of finish off by talking to you a little bit about how I see the small business opportunities that are in the world right now. And I want to talk about hiring people, because this is another great opportunity, isn't it? Now, whether you like it or not, we are now in a worldwide economy, aren't we? We've got big companies like Nike and Apple, building whatever it is they build, whether it's phones or infrastructure, mobiles, you name it, almost in any industry now, whether it's a Marks and Spencer's with their clothes and so on and so forth. Okay. They have people working for them all over the world, right? And that's been happening for ages because they can get things done, particularly some of the sort of routine things, done cheaper in other countries. Why do for example, Apple get all their manufacturing done? I believe, anyway, I'm not certain about this, but I think they get it all done in China. Why is that then? Well, it's to do with money, isn't it? It's cost. The cost of employing somebody in different parts of the world varies according to their economy and how much their people get paid compared with people in other countries. There are parts of the world that are more expensive to live, and therefore people get paid more. And there are parts of the world where people the cost of living is less and they get paid less. That's just the way it is. So why shouldn't we as small businesses take that on board? You can get somebody working remotely. These days, a lot of people work remotely. I'm here in my office, which is a building which is basically tagged on the back of my garage there. That wall behind me that you can see is the wall at the back of my garage. I got a nice office. It's separate to my house, but I don't have to go anywhere. Don't have to drive anywhere. I'm working remotely. I've got other people that work for me remotely. I've got a lady that works for me. She's up in Andover. I'm on the Isle of Wight. We're about 50 miles apart. I've got a fantastic web developer who's over in India. We've never met, but we meet every week on Zoom meetings. He's a fantastic guy. He invited me to his sister's wedding a little while ago, and that's fantastic. I did have an accountant up in Edinburgh. Great guy. Sadly, he passed away. But I've now got an accountant in Manchester. They don't need to be on the Isle of Wight. They don't need to be around the corner. No need to ever meet either of those two people. But, you know, my relationship with the guy in Edinburgh was that good, you know, that, you know, he invited me to his wedding, actually, so that's a fantastic level of relationship without meeting anybody. Now, for those of you thinking, well, it's much better if you can meet, I agree, you're right, but it depends what you want. You know, do you want to find somebody that you can upskill from another country? Do you want to find somebody locally? Do you need to reskill yourself or your team? You know, even, I mean, my work has changed so much over the last 30 years. Can you imagine? You know, when I started out by sending out 1,000 letters in 1,000 envelopes with 1,000 stamps on, getting 20 people onto a marketing workshop, charging them £150 a head, and did it again, repeated it. That's the main thing I used to do in marketing. Now, oh, wow, there's so many different things that we can be doing. There's 1,000 different ways of marketing. So, you know, we need to reskill, we need to upskill, and we need to add impact. So they're the main things that I've got to tell you today. Just be prepared. Let's start now. You know, we're coming up to getting towards Christmas for some, not every industry, obviously in retail, pub trade and restaurants and so on, you're going to be really busy. But if you're in a business that does quieten down, then why not use that time to maybe upskill, to maybe reskill in something else, to learn a little bit more about marketing, to become better than you ever were at marketing your business. Because the businesses that I work with tend to have one of three problems. They either don't have time to do their own marketing, and people can outsource it to us. I mentioned my team of people. Or they don't understand or get modern digital marketing, or they actually don't like doing it. To those people, I'd just say, get over it. You know, you've still got to learn it, because if you don't, you know, your business is not going to grow. Let's put it that way. And you don't have to learn it all. You don't have to be like me, an expert, written books on marketing. You know, you don't need that level of knowledge, but you need to know enough to know what good looks like. And then the third group, which is sometimes the hardest group to do with, are the ones who very proudly stand up and tell me, well, we don't do any marketing, Steve. We win all our business from word of mouth. And my follow-up to that is, well, firstly, well done, because you're clearly good at what you do if you're getting a lot of people recommending you. And my second comment is commiserations, because you're missing out on a load of business that's going to somebody else. If people are looking for you on Google and they're not finding you, but they're finding somebody else, then that money's going to them instead of it being in your pocket or your bank. So, you know, there's no excuse, there's no need for you to not be good and not be effective at marketing, assuming, very importantly, that you want to grow your business. If you don't, carry on doing what you're doing, you'll get the same results. So if you want better results, the first step with me, other than listening to this live stream, is to book a meeting. Well, let's have a chat. We'll do it on Zoom. You don't need to travel to the Isle of Wight. You can see my website on the wall behind me, and in the bottom corner here, results-mastery.com. If you go there, click on the link on the homepage. It's a big gold button. Talks about making the first step, booking a meeting. That'll give you access to my diary. You'll be able to find a time that's suitable for you, select that time, put your details in, and I look forward to meeting you. I won't give you a hard sale. All I'll do is further develop, give you some more developmental ideas for you, your business, and your marketing. Then at the end of it, I'll just ask, do you want any more help? I've got some great programs. My AI, I've already told you about. I've got a program called Results Mastery University, which is an online training program. And then I've got my sort of flagship program, which is called the Results Mastermind program, where we meet up once a week. You gain access to all my other programs, and it's all about helping you to get increases round about 60%. To probably 200% in the next 12 months. So if you want to find out about that, get yourself a meeting, get booked in, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Thank you ever so much for listening. And by the way, I do these various times. You can find the details again under the events page on my website. So don't forget to take a look. And if you want to come along to any of the events in the future, you would be more than welcome. Thank you for listening.